Money grows, peace can grow. Money stack grow, only money grows.
What's up, YouTube fam? It's your man King Marcel, and we back with another video. I'm genuinely starting to think that the United States is probably being attacked from within with how many coincidental events that have been happening over the past week or so. At first, it was the fire that's been going on in Nebraska that I don't even believe is fully put out. I believe they said that it's like 95% contained, but I just seen something this morning saying that another one just got started somewhere else in Nebraska. So that event has been going on. A massive egg farm has just been caught ablaze as well, and there's been a explosion at a Texas oil refinery that, you know what I'm saying, all of these events together could seem coincidental, could seem like they're accidents, but with everything that's going up with the gas prices going up because of the things that's going on with the strait over there in Iran, it seems like they're purposely targeting our oil infrastructure and food chain here, because it just seems too coincidental that all of these things that are effectively, you know what I'm saying, going to cause a massive lockdown that I talked about in my last video. Now these are, I don't want to be a fear monger. I just want you guys to be aware of everything that's going on simultaneously. And come on, it's too much red in the ledger for it to be just coincidental to me. And it's like, I feel like they think that we are that stupid that we won't put two and two together that this is happening. Either there are terror attacks going on, or it's the government that's doing it itself because they're trying to further their agenda or trying to push this one world government. And it all is going to culminate in locking down the infrastructure and targeting our food supply, limiting the way that we move around and how much food we have to eat. So I'm gonna have to just get into this. We're gonna start off with the Nebraska fire, because I've been meaning to do a video about that, but it's just been so much going on, you know what I'm saying, I haven't even been able to really get to it. So we're about to check that out first.
People are dumping their 500
Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button.
pressure washers for this tool that costs less than $50. The results speak for themselves.
Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I do drop a video here. We on the road to 500 subscribers, so make sure you guys are summing up and joining the kingdom. But let's get into this craziness. Hold on a second.
The largest wildfire in Nebraska history is happening now. It has burned 65 miles in 6 hours, and as of this morning, the fires are spreading wildly with 0% containment. More than 600,000 acres are gone. A grandmother named Rose White died trying to flee in Arthur County. The governor declared a state of emergency across 7 counties and deployed the National Guard with Black Hawk helicopters. 30,000 cattle have been displaced in the middle of calving season, and hundreds of thousands of acres of rangeland fencing have been destroyed. Omaha Fire, 350 miles east, sent a crew west for the first time in decades. And across the border, Oklahoma evacuated 4,000 people. Colorado shut off power to 18,000 customers, and red flag warnings stretched across 6 states. The entire Great Plains is burning. But here is the detail that tells the real story. One of the 4 fires, the Road 203 fire, did not start from a downed power line or a spark from a passing truck. It started from a prescribed burn conducted by the United States Forest Service. The agency set fire to the land on Tuesday, March 10th, on the Bessie Ranger District of the Nebraska National Forest. They declared the burn complete and placed it into monitoring status. 36 hours later, winds of 74 miles per hour ripped across the state, and the burn escaped. The Forest Service's official statement says forecasted weather conditions were within parameters. The fire has now consumed more than 36,000 acres of the forest it was supposed to protect. No investigation has been announced, no apology has been issued. And the last time the Forest Service lost control of a prescribed burn under these exact conditions, in New Mexico in 2022, it became the largest wildfire in that state's history and cost the federal government $5.45 billion. Here is how it unfolded. On Thursday, March 12th, red flag warnings blanketed the entire state of Nebraska. Winds topped 74 miles per hour. Relative humidity dropped to 14%. That afternoon, power lines snapped in Morrill County, sparks hit the driest grass in 5 years, and the Morrill fire ignited northeast of Bridgeport. It moved east at a pace firefighters could not match. By nightfall, it had crossed Garden County, swept through Arthur County, and was bearing down on Lake McConaughey, the state's largest reservoir, where roughly 1,000 homes line the north shore. 65 miles, 6 hours. Ralph Moule, fire chief of Keystone Lemoyne Fire and Rescue, the department stationed between the fire and those homes, watched it come and said 5 words, "I've got a bad feeling about tomorrow." That same Thursday, south of Interstate 80, the Cottonwood Fire ignited near Brady and raced through Lincoln and Dawson counties. At 9:02 that night, the Dawson County Sheriff went door to door through Farnham, ordering every resident to evacuate east to Eustis. Alan Oberg, a retired volunteer firefighter, stood and watched. He said, "Uncontrolled wind blowing. No way to get it stopped because there's no way to drive through where it was at. So we basically had to watch a lot of it burn. The fires are supposed to slow down at night.
And they didn't. And you guys got to understand, there was barely any news coverage about this fire. They said 64 acres, and that was at this time. This video, I believe, is over a week old. They just now got it barely contained. Like I said, it's only 95% contained. And the cause of it, it was a prescribed burn from the United States government. They literally went in there claiming that they was going to burn some of this stuff off, some of the dry tree bark off to try to prevent this exact thing from happening. But the fire, they somehow lost control of the fire. What? All while this stuff is going on with Iran, coincidentally at the same time, they accidentally burnt over 64,000 acres. All of that wildlife, all of those farms, because this is mainly farmland. This is beef. This was just straight beef farms. Gone. It's starting to look like we are being targeted by our own government.
Did not. By Friday morning, the Morrill fire had swallowed 453,000 acres.
They got up there.
The Cottonwood fire had crossed 50,000 acres. The Road 203 fire, born from the Forest Service burn, had torn through 35,000 acres of the Nebraska sandhills,
close to 600,000
and pushed into the
acres
Nebraska
gone.
National Forest itself. And a fourth fire, the Anderson Bridge fire, had broken out near Valentine in Cherry County, 130 miles north.
These
Four
are four
fires.
separate fires.
200
How?
miles of burning front, 0 containment. Western Nebraska sits in D3, extreme drought, on the U.S. Drought Monitor. Conditions have worsened for 5 straight weeks. Over the past 6 months, Omaha received 14% of its normal moisture. Norfolk received 11%. The grasses that cover the Nebraska rangeland are classified as 1-hour fuels. That means they can dry out and become explosive in 60 minutes.
And
They have not been wet in
believe?
months.
Are we supposed to believe that they are naturally drying now when they're doing all of this weather manipulation that they're trying to act like they're not doing and trying to blame it on climate control, climate, or whatever they saying? It's seeming like more and more BS and nonsense. We are seeing how this weather is fluctuating, but you know what's something I'm noticing is how much spraying is going on in the skies. How many chemtrails are being laid back to back. They aren't hiding it anymore. All you got to do is look up and see 3, 4, 5, 6 planes at a time going in different directions, just dumping stuff in the sky. But they want to blame climate control. Like, this is insanity to me.
Here is what is not making headlines. Governor Pillen said at the Saturday press conference, "There's risk across the state. The whole state's dry.
No shit.
But Nebraska is not an island." Red flag warnings on March 15th covered Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas,
This cleaner is
Wow.
insane.
Sorry about that.
It removes baked-on oven grease, black mold, and years.
New Mexico, Colorado, and Kansas. Oklahoma's rangeland fuels are generating head fire spread rates of 400 to 550 feet per minute, with flame lengths exceeding 22 feet. Southern Colorado has seen 25 red flag warning days in 2026 alone. That is roughly 1 in every 3 days since January 1st.
Like what?
The fire season that was supposed to start in summer started in winter. The numbers compound: 600,000 acres burned, at least 11 structures were confirmed
600,000
destroyed,
acres, y'all.
47 miles of highway closed. 300 people were evacuated from Dawson County alone. The Nebraska State Patrol restricted airspace over the fires. And the National Interagency Fire Center's March Outlook, published 10 days before the fires started, specifically identified above normal fire potential across the southern Rockies into the southern plains through March. The prediction landed. The preparation did not. At the North Platte Recreation Center on Friday afternoon, volunteers from the Red Cross opened cots and laid out blankets. Across town, Char Merrill Swalberg set up a supply station at 720 West 3rd Street in North Platte and started collecting eye drops, baby wipes, Gatorade, cooling towels, new socks, and foot powder for firefighters who had been running without sleep for 30 hours.
Wow.
Jay Nordhausen at Ogallala Livestock coordinated hay and fencing supplies for ranchers who had lost everything. He described the situation in 4 words: "It is just horrible." And in Lincoln County overnight Saturday, the fire surged again. Several large flare-ups threatened multiple houses. Farmers fired up their own tractors and discs at 3 in the morning and cut fire breaks through their own land. By 5 a.m., every house was still standing, not because of the system, because of the people who live there. Now, here's what happens
They have
next,
to take things
and why
in their
no one
own
in western
hands.
Nebraska is breathing easier. The Rocky Mountain Complex Incident Management Team assumed command Saturday evening. They are still scouting. They stated Sunday morning that maps, size estimates, and other statistics for the fires are not available. They do not yet know exactly how big this is. A cold front dropped temperatures from 69 degrees to 31 degrees overnight, with wind chills to -7. Some snow fell on the northwest edge of the Morrill fire. That sounds like relief.
Right?
It is not. National Weather Service meteorologist Sean Jacobs warned that the next 10 days could bring summer-like temperatures, high wind gusts, and low relative humidity.
It's all this crazy weather going
By
on.
midweek, forecasts show highs rebounding into the 80s and 90s across the
Wow.
fire zone, with continued gusty winds. Senator Pete Ricketts acknowledged the deeper problem at Saturday's briefing. Part of the challenge we got is other states are facing the same challenges we are with regard to this fire. It's been dry all across this part of the country, and the weather is hitting the other states as well as us. Nebraska is competing for the same federal firefighting resources as Oklahoma, Colorado, Texas, and Kansas. And right now, the federal agency that is supposed to provide those resources is also the agency that started one of the fires. The question that no one at the Saturday briefing answered is the question that will define what comes next. The Forest Service says its prescribed burn was within parameters.
But you said
But red
fire.
flag warnings covered
That
all of
didn't mean to cause
Nebraska
the fire.
the
Like,
day
what
the
are you
fire
talking
escaped.
about?
The grasses had not been wet in months. The winds reached 74 miles per hour. If
So
those
if they knew this, if they knew it was this dry, why would you do the burn? Why would you do the burns then? Y'all knew all of these determining factors beforehand, and you still did it anyway and caused it. And trying to dodge accountability? But we're not being attacked by our own government. Right? That's what they want us to think. We're not being attacked by our own government. They're not crippling our infrastructure. On top of these other conflicts that's going on that they still have not let the American people know why we even bombed Iran. We still don't know in detail why that even happened. Because Israel told you so? But Like, and day by day, it's
Conditions were within parameters. What exactly falls outside them? And if the answer is the same answer the Forest Service gave in New Mexico 4 years ago, then the 36,000 acres the Road 203 fire has already consumed are not the end of the cost. They are the beginning. 600,000 acres, 0 containment, acres. One grandmother who did not make it out. And somewhere in the Nebraska sandhills tonight, snow is falling on ground that was on fire 12 hours ago. The wind is shifting. The temperature is dropping, and every firefighter, every rancher, every family near Lake McConaughey knows the same thing Ralph Moule knows. Tomorrow, it gets worse.
So I gifted my husband these.
That's what's going on in Nebraska, right? Now I'm about to show you all what happened with the oil refinery in Texas that somehow exploded. It was explosions that went on there. So let's get into that now, because this is just wild.
Look at the flares. Look at the flare.
Bright orange flames seen here raging at one of the largest oil refineries in the U.S.
Huge explosion just happened at Valero. It just shook my whole truck.
Thick black clouds of smoke filling the sky over Port Arthur, Texas.
The thought that came to mind was someone may have dropped a bomb. That's what it felt like.
As a massive inferno engulfed part of this Valero plant Monday night.
Supervisor here in dispatch just called. He advised that it was a heater. The heater had exploded.
A shelter in place has been
lifted.
Port Arthur's mayor trying to reassure a community on edge.
Because just think of it, like the nonsense that they are saying, these excuses that are being given. It's like a slap in the face. A heater at an oil refinery exploded. That's the story they going with. With all of this stuff going on with the oil prices and everything, just coincidentally, a heater blew up, and it ignited the oil, and it's like, what? You guys let me know down in the comment section, am I reaching? Because I don't feel like I'm reaching by feeling like, again, either there are terrorist attacks going on and they're trying to cover it up, or is our own government doing these things? I feel like it only can be one of the two, but saying that all of these things are coincidentally happening at the same time is very disingenuous. It's an assault on all of our intelligence. And people should be mad. People should be outraged at everything that has gone on so far this year. Because it seems like it's all being purposely done at the extent of us, at the expense of us. To keep us in control, because we started to call them out on the Epstein files. Because that's what I'm finna keep bringing it back to, because that's what it seems like all of this is coming from. Remember, it was that voicemail that came out about Trump said, I don't even care if you got to start a war. Don't release the Epstein files. And we still only got 2% of the actual Epstein files. But we starting to ask too many questions. People were starting to be too outraged, not just here, but around the world. So they had to throw the world in a state of chaos to get us to stop talking about the power structures. Let's not fall for it.
It was nothing. One of the units just exploded.
Valero saying all personnel are accounted for and there are no recordable injuries, but not saying when the plant will be fully operational. Analysts tell NBC News if it remains offline for weeks, gas prices could soar even higher. A gallon of regular gas now up a full $1 since the war with Iran began. Some resorting to theft. A man caught on camera appearing to flee after stealing gas from Diamond Learning Center in California, staff there say. The CEO of United Airlines warning with oil prices where they are, airfare could be next to take off.
That would require prices to be up 20% to break even.
And Tom, this plant processes 435,000 barrels of oil per day for gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. Getting it back online now essential to prevent further disruption in an already rattled energy market.
We thank you for watching, and remember,
So
stay updated on
that's
breaking
the oil refinery story. And I believe this is just today or yesterday where this egg farm in what state is it? In Iowa has caught fire. So the first fire that has gone on in Nebraska mainly was beef farms. There were dairy farms there as well, but that's what it mainly was. It was cow farms. 600,000 acres. Then an oil refinery exploded, and then an egg farm caught fire. Like, look at this. Look at this. Because it's all seeming too coincidental to me, y'all. And I'm sorry if I seem like a pessimist. I seem like a doom and gloom, but this is what's happening. This is what's happening.
Northern Iowa, this is up the Hawkeye Pride Egg Farm in Corinth in Hancock County. Those flames, even from far away, huge.
A lot of orange there. We're working to learn what we can on how it started and how the efforts were to contain it. But Raleigh Jensen gave us these photos and video that he says he took at the farm. We can see large flames and lots of smoke. Some of the photos were taken before sunset. And Janet Moon-Glavy shared these photos. We can see just how large those flames were. You see the balls of fire and all that smoke. It's unclear if anyone was hurt or what caused the fire, but we'll keep you updated on our KCCI mobile app.
Like, insanity.
Get a story from where it'll start.
Outright insanity. The United States is literally going into a state of chaos. And if these things were going on and the stuff in Iran wasn't happening, that's one thing. But for all of these things to be culminating together, I call BS. I genuinely don't believe any of this isn't related to one another. To the point where I'm coming to two conclusions that I keep telling you all. Either these are terrorist attacks that are happening on the mainland, that they don't want us to consider terrorist attacks so that we don't go into a state of panic here, so that they can seem like that they still got everything under control. Or the latter being, it's our own government doing this. Throwing us into a state of chaos because we are questioning the power structures that be. But you guys let me know what you think down in the comment section. Do you guys think I'm reaching? Do you guys think that these are potentially terrorist attacks? Or is it our government? But that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I do drop a video here. We are on the road to 500 subscribers, so make sure you guys sub up and join the kingdom. But with that being said, King Marcel out. Peace.
Money grows, always alive, looking for the prize. That's eternal life, and bringing the change in my mind. Talking real peace of mind.